and a world where the cold can claim a life in just a few hours. Survival is not merely a challenge, but a battle. Here, in the realm of ice, the deadliest predators collide, again and again, unleashing brutal confrontations that shape the frozen wilderness. Who will dominate the harsh border between life and death? Be ready, because this is the untold story of the deadliest predators of the frozen realm. Frozen Domain. The battle of the ruthless predators. In the frozen wilderness, strength is not always measured by size or by speed. Some strike from the shadows, others rely on sheer solitary power, and some transform unity into a deadly weapon. Step into the path of the northern warrior, the gray wolf. At first glance, you might think, the gray wolf looks just like a large dog. But step closer, and you'll see the difference immediately. The gray wolf ranges from 1.2 to 2 meters in length, weighing between 30 and 80 kilograms depending on its habitat. In the Arctic, they grow larger with thick coats to withstand the cold, while on the steppe, wolves are leaner and built for speed. What's fascinating is that, though they belong to the same species, nature has forged them into many different versions. With a bite force of 400 psi, a wolf's jaws can snap the bones of a moose. The number may sound dry, but imagine this. It's like a steel clamp locking onto your arm and never letting go. This bite force is not remarkable compared to a crocodile or a lion. But remember, wolves do not win with a single strike. Their true weapon is the power of the pack. So when they coordinate as a pack, what kind of terrifying power will be created? When the gray wolf returned to Yellowstone after nearly 7 decades of absence, they did not come alone. They arrived like a disciplined army. Here, a typical pack numbers between 8 and 12 wolves, just enough to form an efficient hunting machine. But there have been records of giant packs reaching 20, even 30 individuals, a force powerful enough to impose control over an entire valley. In every wolf pack, there is always an alpha, the leader who guides the way, not only strong, but also wise. Beneath the alpha is the beta, the right hand that enforces discipline throughout the pack. And finally, the omega, the weaker individuals, often submissive, yet still essential in easing tension within the group. It's truly remarkable. Even wild predators maintain a social order that resembles a military unit. That very order is the foundation of the wolf's true strength, the power of collective hunting. When hunger forces them to act, each member plays its role within a unified strategy. Here, their prey is the bison herd, giants weighing up to a ton, with the power to bring down any challenger. The alpha leads the way, The beta enforces discipline, while the others move in harmony to expand the encirclement. Interestingly, they don't rush in right away. Instead, I see them standing at a distance, silently observing. The wolves never waste energy on the strongest ones. They patiently look for weakness, an aged animal or a vulnerable young. The wolves work to drive a weak one away from the herd's protection. Once the target is isolated, the pack pursues with relentless patience. The chase may last for hours, as repeated strikes at the hind legs slowly wear the bison down. The chase can last for hours, as relentless strikes at the hind legs gradually wear the bison down. And when the prey is weakened, the entire pack surges forward together, turning the strength of unity into the final blow. This victory feeds the entire pack, but it doesn't end there. The bison's carcass soon becomes the spark for new conflicts. In such a harsh world, a grand feast is also an open invitation to danger. The scent of blood and fresh meat spreads far, drawing in other predators like polar bears. With their keen sense of smell, they can detect a carcass from many miles away. When a bear appears, the atmosphere changes at once, from a lavish feast into a hidden battlefield. The bear's physical power far surpasses that of the wolves. Just one swing of its claws is enough to bring down a grown adult. The pack is left with only two choices: either yield the meat or risk defying the giant to keep part of it. When a bear appears, the atmosphere changes at once, from a lavish feast into a hidden battlefield. The bear's physical power far surpasses that of the wolves. Just one swing of its claws is enough to bring down a grown adult. The pack is left with only two choices: either yield the meat or risk defying the giant to keep part of it. Not only are they robbed of their prey by other predators, but sometimes gray wolves must also face their own kind. When winter drags on and food grows scarce, tension rises and brutal battles erupt between wolf packs. Each pack is forced to fight, not only to hold on to every fragment of territory, but also to seize the few remaining prey. In that brutal spiral, the losers lose more than a meal. They lose their very home. Whether in the icy forests of the gray wolf or on the harsh grasslands, the law of survival is the same. Territory and food are always the cause of relentless battles. Do you see that similarity? If you agree, leave a comment below. On the rooftop of the world, where snow and ice blanket the land year-round, life seems almost impossible. Yet hidden deep within the mist, a mysterious predator still survives. Swift, graceful, and so elusive it is called the ghost of the mountains. This is the rarest cat on Earth, the snow leopard. On the harsh Himalayas, food is never plentiful. The snow leopard must hunt whatever it can bring down. Its main prey are the Himalayan blue sheep and the Tibetan antelope, agile climbers in their own right. The snow leopard wears a thick gray-white coat marked with black rosettes. This fur is not only beautiful, but also a cloak of camouflage, allowing it to vanish into snow and rock. Its tail, nearly a meter long, thick and bushy, serves both as a rudder for balance and as a blanket wrapped around the body during blizzards. Why is this cat said to be the rarest species on the planet? First of all, the number of snow leopards in the wild is extremely small, only a few thousand individuals, scattered across the Himalayas and the remote high mountains of Central Asia. Next is their habitat, one of the harshest on the planet. Altitudes above 4,000 meters, with steep terrain and snow and ice all year round. Even humans, with all modern equipment, can barely set foot there. That is why encountering a snow leopard in the wild is like finding a ghost among the mountains. This big cat, scientifically named Panthera uncia. Although called the snow leopard, it is in fact more closely related to the tiger. Unlike its relatives such as lions or leopards, the snow leopard cannot roar. Instead, it produces resonant calls that can carry across an entire river. On the harsh Himalayas, food is never plentiful. The snow leopard must hunt whatever it can bring down. Its main prey are the Himalayan blue sheep and the Tibetan antelope, agile climbers in their own right. They are masters of patience. It can stay hidden for hours, even days, just for the perfect moment. Its icy blue eyes spot the prey from afar. Silently, it moves, using every crevice, every shadow to conceal its body. And then, the moment comes. The snow leopard's hind legs are extremely powerful, like biological springs storing energy. In just a split second, it can leap as far as 15 meters, the length of a bus. With such a jump, a deep ravine becomes nothing more than a step, and sheer cliffs turn into perfect launching pads. At this very moment, the tail begins to show its purpose. It works like a giant rudder. In midair, the tail keeps the body stable, helping the snow leopard adjust its flight path. Thanks to this, every landing is not only precise, but absolutely safe. Every detail, from its fur, its tail, to the shape of its legs, is proof of millions of years of evolution, turning the snow leopard into the most perfect predator of the Himalayas. With extraordinary legs and an exceptional tail, the snow leopard seems invincible on the icy peaks. And yet, before humans, it becomes strangely fragile. The ghost of the Himalayas is fading away. Poaching, the fur trade, conflicts with livestock, and shrinking habitats have already stolen up to 30% of its range. Today, in the wild, only a little more than 3,000 adults remain, a number far too small for the survival of this legendary cat. At the far northern edge of the planet stretches an endless white kingdom. Ice and snow cover the horizon, where earth and sky seem to merge as one. This is a land of extremes, where sunlight glimmers for only a few months each year, and the Arctic night stretches into eternity. In the frozen heart of the Arctic, a giant phantom emerges from the veil of snow and mist. The polar bear, the silent ruler of the White Kingdom. Powerful, precise, relentless, it moves across ice and storm as if born from the very frost itself and the fire of survival. Every step is a declaration of power. No warning, no fear, only the inevitable clash between predator and prey. The polar bear, standing nearly 2.5 meters tall on its hind legs and weighing over 600 kilograms, it is the largest land predator on Earth. A thick white coat conceals a layer of black skin, absorbing every faint ray of sunlight. Beneath it, a dense layer of fat forms a thermal armor, allowing the bear to lie motionless on the ice, enduring 40 degrees below zero and still survive. Its massive paws, nearly 30 centimeters wide, are fringed with fur that spreads like natural snowshoes. On the ice, they distribute its weight to keep it from breaking through. In the water, they transform into giant paddles, driving a half-ton body across kilometers of freezing sea. In this frozen world, the polar bear is the very embodiment of ultimate adaptation. But even perfect adaptation is not enough to guarantee a meal. In a land where hunger is ever present, the polar bear must rely on another weapon: deadly patience. Here, on the silent ice, the seal must rise to breathe. And that is when the polar bear begins its deadly game of patience. It presses flat against the ice, as still as a block of snow, its gaze fixed on the tiny breathing hole where the seal must rise for air. Hours may pass, even days, all for a single moment when the prey breaks the surface of the dark water below. Just a single mistake, and the prey is gone forever. More than an apex hunter, the polar bear is also the scavenger of the frozen wastes. When the carcass of a giant whale drifts ashore, it follows the scent and arrives without delay.
鲸鱼的皮下脂肪鲜甜美味，但是鲸鱼拥
Frozen flesh, extracting every ounce of precious nourishment. But before the feast is over, an even greater challenge arrives. As spring returns, the ice begins to retreat. The great floes that once served as familiar hunting grounds slowly vanish, forcing the polar bear to abandon its safe domain. They plunge into the open water, freezing, bottomless, with no place to rest. The journey can stretch for dozens of kilometers, where even a half-ton giant risks exhaustion. In the Arctic, fatigue is not just weakness, it is death. But in this very moment, another danger lurks beneath the black water. An enemy organized, intelligent, and no less ruthless. The life and death battle between the polar bear and the killer whale is about to begin. On the ice, the polar bear is the supreme predator. But beneath the frozen waters, it is outmatched. The killer whale is too fast, too intelligent, and it never hunts alone. This is no longer a balanced battle. It is the moment that lays bare the limits of the polar bear. On the ice, it is king. But in the water, it is a lone wanderer, lost in the realm of organized killers. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it interesting and useful, please give it a like. Share it so more people can know about it. And don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below.